Hey, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Learn JavaScript with Foundry VTT. And as you can see, we're still in version 10, build 291 of Foundry Virtual Tabletop. And so we're actually going to revisit one of these prior ones. So we got the initiative advantage, the initiative with advantage working. Um, I was going to point out there actually is a way to do that in your character sheet that I found. I didn't know that it was there because I never played with it enough. But there's actually under initiative here, you could come in here and actually say advantage on initiative. However, that's going to always be on. And if there's some kind of condition, like it's a special item or something like that, then the macro might work a little better, where they can just click on the macro and it does it for them. And plus, we made it ourselves, right? So cool us. So there is that. So what I wanted to revisit is dark vision. So we did all this coding and stuff, and I made some executive decisions. I love saying that. Um, on a better way to write it. And part of it is, so when this was written, it was version 9, and the vision wasn't quite redone to what it is now. Now, I did get this working, so we can actually come in here. I'm going to leave that part, and I think that part, but all this does not need to be there anymore. But what I want to point out is back in the day, in version 9, vision was pretty simple. It was just a dim vision, and if you had a value, then you had dim vision. If you didn't have a value, then you didn't have it. Nowadays, we have a lot more stuff. We have the basic configuration, we have detection modes, we have advanced options, and the ones I really wanted to play with here, generally if it's a player character, this is automatically going to be enabled. Vision is enabled basically for player characters. But what I wanted to do is use this vision range to make it dark vision, which is 60 feet. And then what I was doing before was I would increase a decimal value here to tell me if the original thing was, if it was 0.1, it meant dark vision. If it was 0.2, it meant it was that the original vision is, actually I think I did 0.1 is basic vision, 0.2 was dark vision, 0.3 would be devil's sight. And that worked really well for what it was, but some things have changed. So now we actually have this vision mode too, where if you're in vision mode like this, you can actually see, I can still see color. Well, technically dark vision is grayscale. For those of you who don't know, I'm pretty sure everyone probably knows it. So when you're in dark vision, it should actually be gray. Everything should be shades of gray. So I wanted to figure out how to do that as well. Now, I did mention a long time ago that especially with Foundry VTT, you want to be very, very careful with using deleting properties within a token or a object, or adding properties, because someone might add a similar property as a module or something like that, and it could break. But ultimately, because now I can't actually do a 360.1, if I do 0.1 in here. No, actually, I think that one did work. So if I do 360, well, actually, no, you can see all of a sudden it jumps down to I have next to no vision, and it jumps it to say, okay, the whole thing is 0.1. So it won't allow us to do that anymore. So I can't do the, whoa, that's a bit high. So if I update, there's our 360 degree view. So that turned into, all right, I guess what we're going to do is we will create inside the token, inside the site property, we'll create our own two properties. And to make it less likely that anyone would ever create the same property, I call it ORIG for original, and then vision mode, because vision mode is what we're backing up, and then also ORIG and the range, which is how much of that vision mode we actually see. So what this will do is allow us to actually say, okay, so if my basic vision is what I have, and right now it's 5 foot, if I switch to dark vision, it will still remember that I have 5 foot of basic vision. Now, I have a couple of things that are still not working quite right with this macro. One is I'm not sure why. One of the things is I'm not sure why it's acting the way it's acting. And the second one is because of the first one, it makes it so it keeps setting the original values to the dark vision, and then I can never go back to the original. So those are some things. If any of you guys know more about macros or know someone that knows stuff, feel free to comment in the comment section, because I would love to know what it is, and I will show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. That was a whole lot of explaining of what we're doing. That was 6 minutes worth. So what we're going to do is we already know that we're checking if there's a single token collected or selected. If there's not, then we're going to go ahead and just exit. If there is only one token selected, then we're going to continue on. So the first thing I wanted to do, or that I did in it, is if we go look at our token, I'm going to go ahead and move this over so we can go ahead. So we have a token selected here. And just a recap, because the structure kind of gets confusing, we're going to hit F12. We'll go ahead and move these guys here so we can see who's selected. We can still see our code window. Maybe put it like that. Just try and give us as much room as we can while we're at 720. All right, so we know that the canvas has all our tokens and stuff, so CANVS. So if we go to canvas, we have to spell it right. We can go in here and look at our different properties. So what we're looking for is we're looking for the canvas. We're looking for our tokens. So down here, we will see we have tokens, and you'll see that this is another object in there. And inside here, we're looking for controlled, which is going to be down here. And because we only have one token controlled, this should be an array of 1. That is what we're going to check for first, is to see if we have, well, no, we already know we have a single token selected. That's what we did up here. We're checking if the controlled is length 1. So now we know we only have 1. We can grab that token, which is going to be in element 0, which is what we want. However, because we don't need any of this other stuff, we're actually going to jump directly into the document, which is what saves all the data of the token itself. And in here, you'll see we have one called site. And this is what we want to mess with, because here's our angle, here's our range, and down here you can actually see our vision mode being, in this case, it's dark vision, right? Can I move you just a little bit more? There we go. So we actually have, is it 5? 1, 2, 3, 6. So we actually have 6 vision modes. And I'm going to copy, and I'm just going to paste these at the very bottom just as a reference for us. So the valid vision modes, and this is actually exactly how they need to be. As you can see, dark vision is in quotes. So it's dark vision, monochromatic, tremor sense, light amplification, basic. Those are our vision modes. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so there's 5 of them. So that is what we're playing with. So let's go ahead and we're going to create a variable that's going to hold this site information. And we're just going to call it site. So let me go up here, make sure I'm doing everything right. So we will be changing values within site. So we definitely don't want to do it as a constant. So we're going to do let SIGHT. So we're going to say let site, and we're going to say equals, and we're basically going to do our whole path. Now I thought you could like right click. Yeah, I think we could do that. And then if we paste it, haha, look how beautiful that is. And when you're a slow typer, that is everything you could ever want. And then, of course, I always like to keep some troubleshooting stuff in here. So I'm going to do console sole.log. And in here, we'll go ahead and do site. This is our site token, space, comma, and we'll do SIGHT. We can go ahead and comment this out because we don't need it right now. This is just for if we ever need to troubleshoot, we can quickly pull up what we're seeing. We'll be able to see what changes over time. All right. The next thing we want to do is we want to create a variable that we're going to change and use to set the range and the vision mode. And I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm just going to do it as let because we're changing these, and we're going to have range, if I could spell it, so range, and we'll do a comma, mode, like that. So we're going to have a variable. Now the reason we're creating this out here is because we're going to be changing those in an if statement, and we don't want to, like if we do them in the first part of the if statement, then we'd have to also declare them in the bottom part. So we want to have these scope wise, we want them to be part of the main scope here inside this function instead of like inside the if. So the next thing we want to do is we want to check what the original vision range is, if there is an original vision range. So as you can see in here, we don't have anything called original vision range. That's because that is going to be our token. Now normally if we try and do this, we could get something, if we're trying to say a size or something like that, we will get an error. However, I don't think I've talked about it before, but there's a special thing we can do on our different property namespace path, I guess is maybe what it would be called. So SIGHT, if we don't know if it exists or not, we can actually use a question mark and then our period. And this is going to say, hey, if this exists, then go ahead and check it, right? So we want to see if there is a variable called ORIG, and we'll say, I think I did range originally. So we want to know if there's an original range. If there is, we want to know if it is greater than or equal to 0. Because your range is always going to be at least 0. Then if your basic vision, it'll be 5. If it's dark vision, it'll be 30. If it's devil sight, it'll be 120. If it's the special one that a Twilight Cleric gives you, it will be 300. So we want to keep track of that. And we want to make sure it's inside original range. So we know that if original range doesn't exist, then basically we want to create it. We want to restore our vision to that original range. So not create it, but if it does exist, if this actually is true, then we want to go ahead and revert back to our original vision, and then we want to go ahead and set our original vision to the current mode and range. Hopefully this makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain it as we're going. So I'm going to go ahead right here. I'm going to create a quick little, I'm trying to think, actually, I did a UI notification for testing, and you could keep this if you want. I'm just going to paste this in here. and if you want it, you can keep it. So I'm just doing an info, so it'll be a little blue bar. And what this will say is restoring original vision. And that is if this, oh, I need to tab these in. This will be if, you know, there already is a variable original range and it's greater than 0. Other words, what we're going to do is after we restore them, we're going to go ahead and delete the original range and the original vision mode from our object here. So this is where you need to be very, very careful that you don't typo something and on accident, you know, just type the range, because you'll actually delete the range property in there and Foundry will not be happy with you. So be very, very, very careful. So what we're going to do here is we're going to restore the properties. No, actually restore. I wanted to restore the original vision mode and range. Restore the ORIGI original VISI vision mode and range. So this is saying if they already have the variables original vision mode and range, we're only checking for range. If that's there, vision mode would also be there. We're going to go ahead and restore our RES. That's not even supposed to be there. We're going to restore the set values to what they originally were. Hopefully that makes sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to say mode, because that's our mode up here. So that's going to be our vision mode. And we're going to set that to the SIG site dot ORIG VISION MODE. So we're going to do that, and then we're also going to do range equals, and we're going to say SIGHT site and original range ORIG RANGE. And go and do that. And then once we've restored those, we no longer need these variables. Now remember, only if they exist will it come into this part where it's going to set the mode back to what the original one was. And this is almost where our first delimit is. So now we're going to go ahead and add a comment here. This is going to delete, DLETE. We're going to delete the properties that we created. Delete the PROPERTI that we created. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then the way you delete a property inside of an object, because we're going into site, which takes us all the way to here, if we just type in the new one that we're trying to get rid of, it'll be just right there. So we're going to delete DEL. And the one we want is SIGHT dot original vision mode. And we want to do the same with our range. DELETE SIGHT dot original range. So that will delete those completely out of our thing. And that's pretty much our first thing. Now, the way it was before is we had to actually, you know, go through and check if it was the 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. However, since our vision mode is now these words and our range and the angle can't be higher than 360, we can actually add those decimal points in there because it has to be an integer, or it'll take it all the way down to 0.0000, whatever. So that's our first part. So our else, so if it already doesn't exist, if we don't have an original either of those things, then we want to go ahead and create them. So the first thing I wanted to do in my code, and this is commented out And I also have a UI notification. Just to save on time, I'm going to go ahead and just paste these in. So as you can see, we're doing another info saying updating advanced vision. So it's going to update your token to the advanced vision. Now, here's where the problem exists. Because of the thing where it doesn't update when you click it once, you actually have to click it 3 times. So you click it once and it works perfect. Click it a second time and it acts like it works perfect, but it doesn't quite actually work. Then you click it a third time and then it actually reverts your vision. And we'll actually show you what I mean. And I'm not sure why it's doing that. So right now we're going to go ahead and clear these. We're going to comment these 2 out because this is how we're going to set our new thing. So to set a new variable, all we have to do is, we're in the site, is we just give it a name and assign it a value. We don't actually have to do let and set let or const when we're creating inside a property or an object. Man, my voice is itchy. So what I did here is I created another thing, and this is just, I called it testing. And this was going to set it to basic vision and 5 foot. So if you're using this on a token that already has dark vision or devil sight, and you want to switch between devil sight and the 300 dark vision, then you would need to modify this until I figure out exactly why it's acting the way it is. So as we know, these are our 5 vision modes, and basic is the first one. So what I did just to test it back and forth is to go ahead and say sig site dot orig original vision mode, and I say equals and basic BASIC. So what this is going to do, because we don't already have original vision mode in here, it will go ahead and create it for us. And this basic should be in quotes, like I show. All right. And then our other one is to also add our range. So SIGHT, sweet, SIGHT, and .org and range. And we're going to go ahead and set that to 5 foot. So 5. So our ultimate goal is to make it so that it backs up whatever their original one was, because then we don't have to mess with it anymore. But I will show you what I'm talking about. It'll be so much easier to understand once I'm able to show you. Then what we need to do is go ahead, and this will be our advanced vision values. So we're going to go ahead and set the actual range and mode to be the values that are specially being given. So we're going to say, man, my throat is itchy. We're going to say set the ADVANC advanced VISIO vision settings. Let's call it that. So the first one is, we know that the mode for the, at least for for the cleric, Twilight Cleric, it gives them dark vision. So we want to go ahead and set the mode equals, and we'll do quotes. We'll do double quotes because that's how I did the other one. So we'll go ahead and do double quotes and say DARKVISION. Just like that. Go ahead and stick our semicolon there. And then we're going to do RANGE. And do equals, and it's 300 feet. So now all we have left to do is actually update the token that is on the canvas. So let's go ahead and do a comment. This is outside of our if statement because we're setting the vision, the mode, and the range in both of these. So now instead of having an update here and an update here, we're just going to update it once outside of everything else. So we're going to say UP update the token on the canvas, like so. And then the way we do this, this is where our function actually needs to be an async, A-S-Y-N-C. So we want to do async because we're doing our callback function here about updating we want to do our await, A-W-A-I-T, right? And the way we do it is we type token dot document dot update. And this is a special function that will actually, once it's done its updates, it will actually go and it will actually go refresh the token. So then the values that we want, so inside these parentheses, we're actually doing a set. I think that's what that is, right? And this needs to be in quotes. This is the one thing that threw me off. So the values we have up here, remember we're going into site right here, and range, we need to do that in here the same. So we need to do SIGHT dot range, and then we do a colon, and we go ahead and set our range, which will be this range or this range. So that's what we're doing. And then we have a comma, and we'll have our second property here, which will be site. And as you can see here, it's vision mode. So we're going to do, let's keep it all the same. We'll do double quotes again. SIGHT dot VISION MODE. Moid, boy, I cannot spell. Make sure that is all correct, because it's very important that that is exactly as it is. We'll go and do our colon, and here we're going to do mode. And that's pretty much it, as long as you spell everything right. So there's our mode right there. So that's pretty much it. Now what I want to do is, just so we can track, I'm going to show you what it's doing and what it's not doing. So I'm going to put down here just another debug console log for the site, because I want to show you what the site is. Should I do it before? I'm going to do this as site 2, and maybe this is site 1, because I don't think it will actually update both. So we want this one. We'll just leave that site. So we're actually going to get 2 sites here, and I just want to show you what it is doing. And even in this mode, it actually glitches, where you have to do it 3 times to actually get it to work. But because we're forcing it to this, which means we want to be this guy because he already has the default of 5, we'll be able to see a little bit what's going on. So now if we click on our token, and if we click our execute macro, we will now see, let's go up here, close that one, this one, sorry. Oh, actually I have an error. Token is not actually, I think I misspelled token. Tokens is not defined, yes. Wait, where's tokens? In line 14. Oh. Yeah, okay. All right, so now we just go through and troubleshoot. All right, so if we hit execute, we get promise undefined, cannot read properties and undefined, blah, 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 DOCUMENT. So this is also on 14. It still says tokens. I thought I got rid of that. Wait, is it token? Wait a minute. Token. Now I'm confused. Hold on. CNVAS. I thought it was tokens. So we go here. It is tokens. TOKENS and TOKNES. Controlled document site. let's just make sure we have controlled 0, right? So if we go to up here, I think it was. Oh, first we have to go to tokens. Tokens. Oh, controlled is down here. Controlled. Then if we get in here, there's 0. Then we have, so we're saying document, which we have, and site, S-I-G-H-T. All right, that should work. Tokens, reference error, not defined. I'm missing something somewhere, obviously. Canvas, T-O-K-E-N-S, C-E-N-V-A-S, T-O-K-E-N-S, controlled length 1, and then it's down here. Oh! I started with tokens. I need canvas here. There we go. That should work now. All right, execute. There we go. So now it says updating advanced, and you'll see his vision got very big, just like we wanted it to. You can see it actually goes, well, the full 300, which is the whole page here. So that's what we want it to do. Now the thing that's kind of weird is if I click it again, and if we go look at the values, so this is when we did it, you can actually see these kind of update as you go, because now we have an original vision mode and original range. If I hit it again, it says it's updating advanced vision a second time. And if we go look at it, it didn't actually change anything, except for it updated now the original vision mode to basic, but the range is 300. Or that's not the original range. So these two are the same, but it actually left these where they were. Now if I hit a third time, it goes back. That's what I don't understand. So now if we go look at the third one here, you can actually see here's the site. You can see that now the originals are gone. We just have our vision mode, and we have, well, that's the first one. Well, technically, I guess it hasn't updated there. But if we go in here, you can actually see that it is 5 foot basic vision, right? Once again, we hit it again, hit execute, goes really big. We can go in here, we can see 300 dark vision, exactly what we want. If we hit it again, it stays. It stays 300 on dark vision. That's the part I'm trying to figure out. 300 dark vision. Hit update a third time, or execute third time. And now, well, was that a fourth time? I don't know. But now we hit it a fourth time or third time or whatever. And now we can see it is 5 in basic. Now what is happening if the reason I can't use this guy down here, that second time, because it's running this a second time, it will then change the sight vision mode to dark vision. It will actually set this to dark vision and this to 300, and then our token will never turn back, because that's the values we're setting here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. We're at 34 minutes. I'm going to try and end real quick. So right now we're at 5 foot vision mode, right? And we'll be able to see here that it is working properly, right? So if I hit execute and go in here, we are, oh, I guess I needed to go back in here, F12. If we go all the way to our bottom here and look at our thing, you can see that it kept the original, and the original range is 5 foot and that. And even though it's already changed, it doesn't update this. And that's kind of where I'm a little confused and I'm trying to figure it out. If I hit execute again, now because our current is actually going to be 300 and dark vision, because it runs this second part of the if, it will actually overwrite this to dark vision and 100, or dark vision and 300. So we do that and we go in here now. Now you can see our original values are dark vision 300 and the special range is dark vision 300. So now it doesn't matter how many times we click this, it's never going to revert back. It's just going to say it's reverting to the original. And you'll notice it's actually doing it right, which is even more confusing. And it's doing it, you know, original vision, advanced vision, original vision, advanced vision. But it's not actually changing anything. But if I do set this again to those set values, which will not work, like I said, if your original vision is different. So in this case, whoever's playing their character would need to go update these two values with their original, and then it would work fine. They would still have to click it 3 times. But now if I click it, you'll see original vision, updating advanced, and there's original again. Now it's actually doing all right. And then advanced, and then advanced again, and then original. So I'm looking into this, but if you guys have any ideas why it might be doing this as well, I would love to know. But there you go. That is a simple kind of little macro. And I really wanted to get this out just so you could see how you actually can update the token and get that information. You know, you can actually see all this stuff. I don't think we really need this guy at all. But yeah, so that will do for this episode, which is almost 40 minutes long. I apologize for that. And I apologize for sounding maybe scatterbrained or maybe confusing you. Hopefully I didn't too much. But I will continue looking into it. I do think this is a very good way of actually doing it, although I really kind of want to usually shun away from creating values and deleting values from an actual object that's already there. But in this case, it kind of seems like it's necessary because I don't have any way of doing it the way I did before, kind of cheating the system. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Click that little notification bell. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels. By the way, I have been in my Discord. It was requested that I take these and actually do code snippets inside Discord so you can actually have the code. Those are in my Discord in the Foundry VTT. I think I even called it Learn Foundry VTT or something like, or Learn JavaScript with Foundry VTT, or I have a channel, something like that. But you can actually get all these little code snippets there. So yeah, tell other people on my channel, and that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.